Jun stood in the middle of the big alien courtroom. His back was straight even though the gravity on Nexus Station pulled hard on his body. Above him, 7 alien judges sat on tall black platforms. Their bodies had scales and feathers that moved in the soft purple light. To them, Jun was just another human, a simple species that had only been traveling in space for about 100 years. Prisoner Jun Kim of Earth, you are guilty of entering the forbidden area of the Asterian embassy, said Chief Judge Vex, blinking her many eyes one after another. The punishment is death. People in the watching area began to whisper. Jun stayed quiet. He knew that arguing would not help. The proof against him looked real. Security videos showed someone with his exact body measurements going into the restricted area and looking at secret information about weapons that could destroy whole planets. But it wasn't him. Jun worked with languages. He came to Nexus Station to help make better translation systems between human languages and the 27 other species in the Galactic Union. When the break-in happened, he was working late in his room, alone. You will die in 7 days, Vex continued. By our laws, you can have one last wish before you die. Jun looked straight at her. The words came out naturally. I want to meet alone with each council member to talk about the human idea of forgiveness. The room filled with confused talking. Humans were known across the galaxy as fighters, explorers, and sometimes traitors, but not as thinkers. Quiet, Vex shouted over the noise. This is a strange request, but our rules allow it. Request approved. As guards took him back to his cell, Jun saw someone watching from the shadows. Sun, who worked for the Earth ambassador. Her eyes met his for a moment before she looked away. They had worked together sometimes, translating messages. Now she looked at him like she didn't know him. In his cell, Jun sat cross-legged on the hard bed. He had no plan to escape, no secret goal. Earth's soldiers were too few to fight the Galactic Union, and official complaints had been ignored. He just wanted to know why someone framed him, and who did it. The door opened, and a small bird-like being with colorful feathers came in. Judge Liar, the youngest council member. You asked to talk about forgiveness, Liar said, sitting on a perch across from Jun. I'm curious about this human idea. Jun smiled softly. In our history, humans have done terrible things to each other. Wars, mass killings, destroying our environment. But we've learned that revenge only keeps the pain going. Forgiveness stops these cycles. But you say you did nothing wrong, Liar said, tilting his head. How can you forgive if you aren't guilty? I forgive those who set me up, Jun said simply. Their fear or hate must be very strong to risk a war between planets. Liar's feathers moved in surprise. You think someone planned this. It wasn't just a mistake. The evidence is too perfect, Jun explained. Someone wants to make humans look bad, maybe to stop our growing power. After Liar left, Jun lay back, looking at the ceiling. 1 talk down, 6 to go. He knew he probably couldn't change their minds about killing him. But maybe before he died, he could plant small doubts that might grow into truth. Outside his cell, hidden from Jun, Sun pressed a small device against the wall, recording everything. Her hands shook a little as she slipped away into the station's twisting. Judge Rock, who looked like a walking crystal that shined with many colors, was the second to visit Jun's cell. Your kind puzzles me, Rock said, with a voice that sounded like faraway thunder. You fight wars on your own world, but talk about peace in space. Jun nodded. Yes, humans are full of opposites. That's why forgiveness is so important to us. We know we can be both cruel and kind. He told Rock how Earth's best leaders often chose to make peace instead of seeking revenge. He talked about people who rebuilt friendships after wars and how communities healed after violence. Nice idea, Rock said, but not practical. Justice means punishment. Real justice needs truth, Jun replied. Did the council ask why a language worker would suddenly steal weapon information he couldn't even understand? A wave moved through Rock's crystal body, like a frown. The evidence. Evidence can be faked, Jun said softly, especially on a station with advanced technology that can copy faces and body shapes. After Rock left, Jun got his meal, a plain food cube made for humans. As he ate, he saw something strange. A small mark carved into the tray, hard to see. 3 circles linked together, the symbol of Earth's Secret Service. Someone was watching. Someone believed him. The next visitor was Judge Pal, a water creature who came in a floating tank. They talked about the same things. Pal doubted forgiveness would work and asked about the crime. Jun stayed calm, never begging for his life, only asking for understanding. By the 4th judge, Gan, a gas being in a special suit, Jun noticed something odd. Each judge asked specific questions about Earth's defenses, how humans think, and our plans in space. This wasn't just about his case. They were collecting information. That night, as the station's lights went dim like Earth nighttime, Jun's door opened quietly. Sun slipped inside, holding a finger to her lips. "We don't have much time," she whispered, kneeling by his bed. "I believe you didn't do it." "Why?" Jun asked, sitting up. "I've been tracking strange data being sent from the station. Someone is sending away information, the same information you're accused of stealing." Jun felt happy to have a friend, but stayed realistic. "Even if we prove that, the council already decided I'm guilty. They won't easily admit they made a mistake." Sun's eyes got hard. "That's why we need to find the real criminal before they kill you. But I need to know, why talk about forgiveness? Why not fight harder against the charges?" "Because," Jun said, "whoever set me up is watching how I act. If I get angry and make accusations, it makes humans look dangerous, just like they want. But forgiveness, that confuses them." Sun nodded slowly. "Smart. There's more happening here than just setting you up. I think we're in the middle of something bigger, maybe an attack against Earth." Before she could say more, her communication device vibrated. She looked at it, her face going pale. "Guards coming. I have to go." As she slipped out, Jun called softly, "Be careful." Alone again, he went back to thinking quietly. 3 more judges to meet, 3 more chances to plant seeds of doubt. And somewhere on the station, an enemy who had worked very hard to make sure he would die. Judge Zol, a group mind living in a metal body, was perhaps the hardest judge to understand. Its voice came from many speakers at once, creating a strange chorus effect. "Your idea of forgiveness needs one person forgiving another," Zol observed. "For a group mind like us, the difference between forgiver and forgiven has no meaning." Jun thought about this. Maybe forgiveness for you means allowing different thoughts within your group, letting different views exist without trying to remove them. Zol's lights blinked in what might have been surprise. A good comparison. Few non-group species understand our nature so quickly. Their talk turned to deep questions about mind and responsibility. Throughout, Jun gently suggested that the evidence against him needed more study. After Zol left, Jun noticed something. A small watching device in the corner of his cell had been turned off. Zol had given him privacy. As a favor or message, Jun couldn't be sure. Taking advantage of this chance, he looked at his cell more carefully, running his fingers along the edges of the walls. Near the floor, he found a loose panel. Behind it was a small package wrapped in plastic. Inside, a data chip and a note saying only, "Trust no one. Watch the recording." Jun had no way to see what was on the chip in his cell. He quickly hid it again as he heard footsteps coming. The 6th judge, Vel, a mammal covered in thick blue fur, entered with 2 guards. "I prefer to walk," Vel explained, sending the guards away. Once alone, the judge leaned closer. "I've looked at your case file more carefully, human. There are problems." Hope flickered in Jun's chest. "What kind?" "The security video shows you entering the embassy at exactly 27 to 88 station time. Yet your room's life sensors show someone was there from 26 o'clock to 31:50 without leaving. Jun nodded slowly. I was there all night, working on translations. So it seems, Vel said. I've quietly ordered more investigation. Not all council members agree with this death sentence. As Vel prepared to leave, Jun asked, Why help me? You don't know me. The judge's ears flattened slightly. My species almost died out 300 years ago. Humans weren't known to us then, but we met another race who taught us about second chances. I believe in looking at all evidence before taking a life. After Vel left, Jun felt new hope. He needed to get the mysterious data chip to Sun or another ally. But how? His answer came that evening when a maintenance worker, a green-skinned Trellin, arrived to fix the air system. As the worker bent near him, Jun recognized the three-circle symbol subtly marked on their uniform. Temperature preference. The worker asked loudly, while their fingers quickly shaped a silent message. Chip. Jun stretched casually, using the movement to slip the data chip into the worker's tool bag. Normal Earth temperature, please. The worker finished quickly and left. Jun sat back, heart racing. Now he could only wait and hope. Later that night, as he dozed lightly, his cell door opened again. This time, it wasn't Sun or a friendly face, but Chief Judge Vex herself, with 4 armed guards. Prisoner Jun Kim, she said formally, the council has received new information about your case. You will come with us now. As the guards led him through unfamiliar hallways, Jun tried to read Vex's expression. Was his execution being moved up? Had his allies been caught? The judge's many eyes showed nothing. They arrived at a secure room deep within the station. Inside, displayed on multiple screens, was footage of someone who looked exactly like Jun entering the Asterian embassy, side by side with new footage showing the same Jun changing shape into another form entirely. This evidence was given to all council members 1 hour ago. Vex explained, her voice careful and even. It seems someone used advanced copying technology to frame you. Jun stared at the footage, a cold feeling growing inside him. This is from the data chip I found. Vex's eyes widened slightly, the first real surprise he'd seen from her. You found a data chip. When? Before he could answer, the door opened. Sun entered, with 2 station security officers beside her. Her face looked calm and professional, but her eyes warned Jun to be careful. Ambassador's assistant Sun Li reporting as asked, she said formally. Vex pointed to the screens. This evidence changes our investigation. Someone with access to high-security areas has not only stolen information, but tried to frame an innocent diplomat. Jun watched Sun carefully. Something felt wrong. The timing was too perfect, the reveal too dramatic. Chief Judge, Jun said slowly, may I ask who gave this evidence? A new voice answered from the doorway. I did. Du, Earth's senior diplomat on the station, walked in confidently. He was tall and impressive, with gray streaks in his black hair, and someone Jun had always respected. When Assistant Sun reported her concerns to me, I started my own investigation, Du explained smoothly. The criminal used very advanced technology, but made one mistake, not seeing a hidden camera in the embassy's air system. Jun felt Sun tense beside him. Something in Du's explanation didn't match what she had told him in his cell. That's strange, Jun said carefully, because Sun told me she discovered unusual data being sent, not video evidence. A flash of annoyance crossed Du's face, quickly hidden. Of course, we looked at many different areas of investigation. Vex's many eyes moved between them. This difference worries me. Du smiled reassuringly. Just a small misunderstanding in a complex investigation. The important thing is that justice has been done. I request Jun's immediate release into Earth custody. As Vex thought about this, Jun caught Sun's tiny head shake. Trust no one, the note had said, including, maybe, their own people. With respect, Chief Judge, Jun said, I believe the investigation should continue here, under council authority. If someone is targeting Earth-galactic relations, all parties should be involved in finding the truth. Doe's smile hardened. That's not needed. Earth will handle punishment of any human involved. Vex raised a hand for silence. I must talk with the full council. Until then, both Jun Kim and this new evidence stay in our custody. As they were led out, Jun noticed Doe typing something into his personal device. The senior diplomat's calm face had slipped, showing tightly controlled anger. Back in a new, more comfortable holding room, Jun finally had a moment alone with Sun. Something's wrong with Doe's story, he whispered. He's never mentioned a hidden camera system before. Sun nodded grimly. Because there isn't one. The Asterians use quantum linking monitoring, no physical cameras. And I never showed him any evidence. I reported directly to Earth intelligence, going around diplomatic channels. Jun felt a chill. Then how did he get that footage? Exactly, Sun said. Either he's working with whoever framed you, or he framed me himself. Jun finished. Before they could talk more, an explosion shook the station. Alarms sounded. Emergency lights flashed red. Stay here, ordered the guard at their door, rushing out to respond to the crisis. Sun immediately moved to the room's computer terminal. This is too convenient. Someone is making their move. As she worked to access the station's security system, Jun had a disturbing thought. What if the real target was never me? What if someone needed a distraction, a human apparently stealing weapons data, to cover something bigger? Sun's fingers stopped over the controls. Like what? I don't know, Jun admitted, but I think we're about to find out. The station shook with another explosion as Sun hacked into the security system. Emergency messages filled the communication channels, reports of many breaches, fires in the lower levels, and an unknown ship docking without permission. There, Sun said, pointing to a security feed showing Doe hurrying toward the docking bays, with 4 armed people in unmarked combat suits. He's trying to escape. Can you access the feeds from the Asterian embassy? Jun asked. If this was all a distraction, let's see what was really happening there. Sun's fingers moved quickly across the interface. Multiple camera views appeared, showing the embassy's main room, where a group of technicians were taking apart what looked like a large special computer. That's the Asterian Harmony Core, Sun whispered. It's their most sacred technology. It keeps communication with their homeworld across huge distances. Jun understood. The weapons data was never the target. They wanted the Asterians' quantum communication technology. Another alert flashed on the screen. The station's defensive systems were shutting down. This is bigger than just Doe, Sun said. Someone's taking control of the entire station. The door to their holding room opened, revealing Judge Vel. The blue-furred judge was breathing hard, a bird mark on one shoulder. The council has been attacked, Vel said urgently. 3 judges are dead, including Vex. We believe this is connected to your case. Jun made a quick decision. We know who's behind this. Earth diplomat Doe and his team. They're heading for the docking bays now. Vel's eyes narrowed. This is a human operation. No, Sun said firmly. We think Doe is working for someone else. The real target is Asterian communication technology. The judge thought about this, then gestured for them to follow. The remaining council members are meeting in emergency session. You should both speak there. As they hurried through hallways filled with scared station residents, Jun noticed something odd about the emergency workers. Many wore the same type of unmarked combat suits he'd seen with Doe's group. Those aren't station security, he whispered to Sun. This is a planned takeover. They ducked into a maintenance tunnel just as a group of the fake security officers passed. Vel led them through a complex series of passages until they reached a hidden room deep within the station's core. Inside waited the 3 surviving council members, Lyre, Rock, and Zol, along with representatives from various species, including an Asterian elder whose clear skin glowed with patterns of distress. The human diplomat speaks truth, the Asterian said in a musical voice. Our harmony core is being stolen. Without it, Our colony worlds will be cut off from the group mind. By humans, demanded a representative from the warrior-like Krell Dominion. No, said a new voice. Everyone turned to see a station security officer enter, removing her helmet to reveal a woman with a stern face. I'm Commander Jin of Earth Intelligence. We've been tracking this conspiracy for months. She activated a display showing to meeting with shadowy figures. Diplomat Du is working for the Shadows, a multi-species terrorist group dedicated to breaking apart the Galactic Union. They've infiltrated governments across multiple worlds. Their goal is to fragment the Union, Jin continued, starting by isolating the Asterians, whose peaceful philosophy has been the foundation of galactic peace. Framing a human was meant to drive a wedge between Earth and the Council. Rock's crystal form darkened. Why should we believe you? This could be another human trick. Jun stepped forward. Because despite being sentenced to death for something I didn't do, I chose forgiveness over bitterness. That human quality, the ability to break cycles of violence, is exactly what the Shadows fear. The room fell silent. Then Zol's mechanical body hummed with activity. Logic supports this analysis. The attack pattern shows multiple species involvement, not just human. We must act quickly, Jin urged. The Shadows are trying to take control of the station's propulsion systems. If they succeed, they'll crash Nexus into the nearby moon, killing the Council and breaking the Union's central hub. The remaining judges exchanged glances. Lyre, the youngest, spoke first. We need to trust the humans. Together we might save the station. Rock hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. Agreed. But we need a plan. Commander Jin smiled grimly. I thought you'd never ask. Commander Jin's plan was both simple and desperate. The station's defense systems had been taken over, but the propulsion controls had an emergency override in the council chamber, designed to be used only when all 7 judges agreed. With 3 judges dead, we need to bypass the authentication system, Jin explained, showing diagrams on her device. The Shadows will expect us to try this, so they'll have forces guarding the chamber. What about the stolen Harmony core? Asked the Asterian elder, body pulsing with worry. Without it, my people lose their connection to our collective mind. We have a tracking device on Du, Sun revealed. He'll lead us to the core. The plan divided them into 3 teams, one to reclaim the council chamber and regain control of the station, one to pursue Du and recover the Asterian technology, and one to evacuate civilians from dangerous areas. I'll go after Du, Jun volunteered. When others looked surprised, he explained, he won't expect me. He thinks I'm still in custody. And I understand his thinking better than anyone. Judge Rock objected. This human was a prisoner moments ago. Can we trust him with such responsibility? Jun met the crystal being's gaze steadily. Judge, you questioned me about forgiveness. This is it in action, putting aside personal hurt to serve a greater good. After some debate, the teams were set. Jun would lead the pursuit team, joined by Sun, 2 station security officers loyal to Jin, and a young Asterian technician who could operate the Harmony core. As they prepared to separate, Vel approached Jun privately. Your forgiveness philosophy. I begin to understand it now. It's not weakness, but strength, choosing to break the cycle even when you have reason to continue it. Jun nodded. Exactly. Revenge is easy. Forgiveness takes courage. Minutes later, Jun's team moved through maintenance tunnels toward the lower docking bays, where Du's signal was last detected. The station continued to shake as systems failed or were deliberately damaged. Through Sun's hacked connection to security feeds, they watched the other teams meeting heavy resistance. Du's heading for docking bay 7, Sun reported, checking her tracker. If he gets that core onto a ship, we'll never catch him. They quickened their pace, navigating through increasingly damaged sections of the station. Twice they had to go around collapsed corridors. In one section, they found civilians trapped by a security lockdown and stopped to free them. The Shadows are using a divide-and-conquer strategy, Jun realized. creating so many problems at once that we can't address them all. It's working, one of the security officers muttered, helping an injured Trellan child. Station services are overwhelmed. As they neared the docking bay, they encountered their first shadow operatives, 3 figures in combat suits guarding an intersection. Before Jun could suggest caution, the lead security officer charged forward, weapon raised. Energy bolts crackled through the air. The officer fell, wounded but alive. Jun pulled him back into cover as Sun returned fire. "We need another approach," Jun said, noting the shadow's better position. The young Asterian technician touched his arm. "I can help." His clear skin began pulsing in a complex pattern. The lights in the corridor flickered, then shut off completely, plunging them into darkness. "Asterians can manipulate electrical systems," Sun whispered, activating night vision gear. "Move now." They rushed forward, the Asterian's glowing body giving them just enough light to navigate while confusing their opponents. Within moments, they had neutralized the shadow guards and continued toward the docking bay. They arrived just as Dew was supervising the loading of a large container, presumably holding the Harmony core, onto a sleek, unmarked vessel. 8 more shadow operatives stood guard. Too many to fight directly, Sun assessed, observing from their hidden position. Jun studied the scene, noticing something odd about Dew's behavior. The diplomat kept checking his communication device, growing increasingly anxious. "He's waiting for something," Jun said. "The station takeover isn't complete, and he's nervous." An idea formed, risky, but potentially effective. Jun turned to his companions. "I need to speak with him alone." Sun frowned. "That's suicide." "Not if you cover me from here," Jun said. "And not if I'm right about him." Before anyone could object further, Dai stepped out from cover and walked calmly toward the docking bay entrance. Shadow guards immediately raised weapons. "Hold fire," Ta called out, looking genuinely shocked. "Dai, how did you escape?" Dai continued forward, hands raised. "I didn't escape. I was released when your evidence cleared me. Remember." Confusion flickered across Ta's face, quickly replaced by calculation. He gestured the guards to let Dai approach but keep weapons ready. "You've caused quite a problem for my operation," Ta said when Dai stood before him. "You were supposed to die quietly as a traitor, not become a rallying point." "Why, Ta?" Dai asked simply. "We've worked together for years. You helped establish Earth's position in the Union." A bitter smile twisted Ta's lips, and watched as aliens dictated terms to humanity. "The Union will never treat us as equals. The Shadows understand this. Each species must secure its own future. By stealing technology, starting wars. By establishing a new order," Ta snapped. "The Asterian technology will give Earth an unassailable communication advantage. We'll be able to coordinate our fleets across the galaxy instantly." Day noted how Tai said Earth, and not the Shadows. There was the opening he needed. "Except that's not the plan, is it?" Dai asked quietly. "The Shadows aren't giving that technology to Earth. They're using you, just like they used me." Doubt flickered in Ta's eyes, just for an instant, but Day caught it. He pressed his advantage. "Check your communications. Has Earth Command confirmed receipt of your updates, or have the Shadows kept you isolated, feeding you just enough information to keep you compliant?" Tay's hand tightened on his weapon. "You're trying to confuse me. I'm offering you forgiveness," Day said simply. "Whatever your reasons, there's still time to make this right." Tay's finger hovered over his weapon's trigger. For a tense moment, Day thought he had miscalculated, that Ta's loyalty to the Shadows was absolute. Then the senior diplomat's communication device chimed. Todd glanced at it, his expression hardening. "Final phase activated," he read aloud. "All assets expendable." His voice took on a new edge, including this station. And us. They're going to destroy the station with everyone on it, Day realized, including their own people. Todd looked genuinely shaken. This wasn't the plan. We were supposed to extract the technology and deliver it to the rendezvous point. Earth would gain an advantage. Not this. They used your patriotism against you, Dai said quietly. But you can still choose differently. A shadow operative approached them. Sir, we need to depart immediately. The charges are set. Tai made his decision with surprising swiftness. He raised his weapon and fired, not at Dai, but at the shadow operative. As the figure collapsed, chaos erupted across the docking bay. Cover, Ta shouted, pulling Dai behind a cargo container as the remaining shadows opened fire. Sora and the others emerged from hiding, providing supporting fire. The young Asterian technician raced toward the ship where the Harmony core was stored. The detonation sequence is already activated, Tai explained between exchanging shots. The shadows planted explosives throughout the station's structural supports. We have less than 30 minutes. Day activated his communication device. Commander Han, the station is rigged to explode. We need to evacuate everyone. Han's voice came back, tight with strain. We've retaken the council chamber, but systems are locked down. We can't even send out a general alarm. The Harmony core might help, the Asterian technician called out, emerging from the ship. If we can reinstall it, we can override the lockdown and access evacuation protocols. Their firefight with the shadows intensified. 2 more operatives fell, but Sora took a glancing hit to her arm. The security officer with them provided covering fire as they retreated toward the maintenance tunnels, the Asterian carefully guiding the hovering container that held the core. We need to get to the central hub, the technician explained. The core can interface with the station's primary systems there. As they made their way through increasingly chaotic corridors, they encountered panicked civilians and overwhelmed emergency responders. The shadow operatives had vanished, presumably escaping before their own explosives detonated. They're abandoning their people too, Ta noted bitterly. Day gave him a measured look. People who choose hate usually end up betraying everything, even their own cause. They reached the central hub, normally a bustling command center, now damaged and partially evacuated. The surviving council members had relocated there, working alongside station personnel to stabilize critical systems. The Asterian elder approached as they entered with the core. You recovered it. Quickly, we must reinstall it before more damage occurs. As technicians from multiple species worked to integrate the Harmony core into the station's systems, Commander Han approached Dai and Ta. The explosives are quantum-linked, she reported grimly. We can't disarm them remotely, and there are too many to find manually in the time we have left. What about evacuating? Dai asked. We've begun, but there are over 50,000 beings on this station. Our available ships can only transport a fraction in time. The Asterian technician, overhearing this, looked up from his work. The core might offer another solution. It doesn't just communicate. It manipulates quantum states across vast distances. Meaning? Han asked. We could potentially phase shift the explosives into a harmless state, the technician explained, but it would require precisely calibrating the core to each explosive's quantum signature. How do we get those signatures? Sora asked. All eyes turned to Ta. He nodded slowly. I have access to the Shadow Command protocols. I can download their detonation sequences. Judge Mox approached, crystalline form glittering under the emergency lights. Can we trust the word of this human? He planned to betray us all. Day stepped forward. I trust him now. He's chosen a different path. As Tai worked to extract the information, Dai helped coordinate the limited evacuation, prioritizing children and medical cases. Time was running dangerously short. They had less than 15 minutes remaining according to Ta's information. Finally, Tai transferred the quantum signatures to the Asterian team. This is everything. I hope it helps. The technicians worked frantically, the Harmony core glowing with increasing intensity as it interfaced with the station's systems. Strange harmonics filled the air, a side effect of the quantum manipulations. 10 minutes remaining, announced an automated system. All personnel proceed to evacuation points. The Asterian elder's bioluminescence pulsed in complex patterns as he communicated with the core. We've identified 87% of the explosives, beginning phase shift. Throughout the station, shadow explosives began to emit a high-pitched whine, then dissolved into harmless energy patterns. But not all of them. Some devices are using a different quantum signature, the technician reported anxiously. We can't affect them with our current calibration. Ty frowned, reviewing the data. These must be the primary charges. They use a separate detonation sequence as a failsafe. It would be stored on the Shadow Commander's personal device. Which Shadow operative was in charge? Han demanded. Ty looked up, face pale. It wasn't an operative. It was a council member. As they made their way through increasingly chaotic corridors, they encountered panicked civilians and overwhelmed emergency workers. The shadow operatives had vanished, presumably escaping before their own bombs exploded. They're abandoning their people too, Du noted bitterly. Jun gave him a measured look. People who choose hate usually end up betraying everything, even their own cause. They reached the central hub, normally a busy command center, now damaged and partially evacuated. The surviving council members had moved there, working alongside station staff to stabilize critical systems. The Asterian elder approached as they entered with the core. You recovered it. Quickly, we must reinstall it before more damage occurs. As technicians from multiple species worked to connect the Harmony core to the station's systems, Commander Jin approached Jun and Du. The bombs are quantum-linked, she reported grimly. We can't disarm them remotely, and there are too many to find manually in the time we have left. What about evacuating? Jun asked. We've begun, but there are over 50,000 beings on this station. Our available ships can only transport a fraction in time. The Asterian technician, overhearing this, looked up from his work. The core might offer another solution. It doesn't just communicate. It manipulates quantum states across vast distances. Meaning? Jin asked. We could potentially change the bombs into a harmless state, the technician explained, but it would require precisely calibrating the core to each bomb's quantum signature. How do we get those signatures? Sun asked. All eyes turned to Du. He nodded slowly. I have access to the Shadow Command protocols. I can download their detonation sequences. Judge Rock approached, crystal form glittering under the emergency lights. Can we trust the word of this human? He planned to betray us all. Jun stepped forward. I trust him now. He's chosen a different path. As Du worked to extract the information, Jun helped coordinate the limited evacuation, prioritizing children and medical cases. Time was running dangerously short. They had less than 15 minutes remaining according to Du's information. Finally, Du transferred the quantum signatures to the Asterian team. This is everything. I hope it helps. The technicians worked frantically, the Harmony core glowing with increasing intensity as it connected with the station's systems. Strange musical sounds filled the air, a side effect of the quantum manipulations. 10 minutes remaining, announced an automated system. All personnel proceed to evacuation points. The Asterian elder's body pulsed in complex patterns as he communicated with the core. We've identified 87% of the bombs. Beginning phase shift. Throughout the station, shadow bombs began to emit a high-pitched whine, then dissolved into harmless energy patterns, but not all of them. Some devices are using a different quantum signature, the technician reported anxiously. We can't affect them with our current calibration. Du frowned, reviewing the data. These must be the primary charges. They use a separate detonation sequence as a failsafe. It would be stored on the Shadow Commander's personal device. Which Shadow operative was in charge? Jin demanded. Du looked up, face pale. It wasn't an operative. It was a council member. The central hub fell silent. Judge Rock's crystal form darkened ominously. Judge Lyre's feathers flattened against her body. Judge Zol's mechanical form emitted a low hum of processing. Which one? Judge Vel demanded, blue fur bristling. Du hesitated, then answered. Chief Judge Vex. She was the Shadow's highest-placed agent. That's impossible. Liar protested. Vex served on the council for over 40 cycles. She helped found the Galactic Union, which gave her perfect cover, Sun realized, and convenient access to hide evidence or manipulate investigations. But Vex is dead, Rock pointed out. Killed in the initial attack. Commander Jin's eyes narrowed. Are we certain of that? Has anyone actually seen her body? A chill ran through the room as the meaning sank in. If Vex had faked her death and escaped with the detonation codes, they had almost no chance of stopping the remaining bonds.